Hello, I'm Kenny. I am responding to the claim that adopting from a pet store promotes animal suffering. My opponent's secondary claims included 90% of pet stores obtain puppies from puppy mills, and pet stores increase the overpopulation of animals. My response to these claims are puppy mills are defined differently by different people, and all commercial breeders are not bad, as well as overpopulation of animals is due to several factors, not just pet stores. My opponent's major claim was adopting from pet stores promotes animal cruelty. However, I found that much of the speech was aimed with clear bias towards telling us how bad puppy mills are rather than how adopting from pet stores promotes animal suffering. The advocate's secondary claim was that 90% of pet stores obtain puppies from puppy mills and are supported with a biased and outdated definition of puppy mills stated as: puppy mills are facilities where animals are bred for quantity, not quality, live in deplorable conditions, and are doomed to suffer health and behavioral problems because of their delinquent upbringing. This brings me to my first counterclaim, that puppy mills are defined differently by different people. 20 years ago, it was common knowledge that a puppy mill was a kennel where unhealthy, overbred dogs were kept in substandard conditions. Today it is a bit harder to define a puppy mill in such a negative manner, as activist groups have begun to broaden their term to cover just about any kennel that they disapprove of for one reason or another. As a result, commercial kennels and hobby breeders with no more than a certain amount of dogs have become targets for anti-breeding groups that lobby for laws that restrict these law-abiding operations. Norma Wolf, a writer for Dog Owner's Guide, which is an online magazine for pet and show dog owners, writes in her article, Evolution of High-Volume Kennels, that puppy mills first became synonymous with horrible conditions, then were used to indict any breeder who breeds lots of dogs, no matter what the conditions of the kennel are or the health of the puppies. HSUS, along with People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals and other animal rights groups, planted and cultivated this most kennels or puppy mills idea in the public consciousness to legitimize themselves in the eyes of animal lovers and to collect tens of millions of dollars in donations. The advocate claimed that commercial breeders are just another name for puppy mills, yet I found evidence to the contrary. I found that one person's top breeder is another person's puppy mill. My second response is that all commercial breeders are not bad. On January 13, 2009, Virginia Interfaith Center for Public Policy defines commercial breeder as persons who maintain 20 or more unsterilized adult females for commercial breeding purposes. Commercial breeders are required to apply for a business license from the respective locality, cooperate with inspections by animal control officers to ensure compliance with state and federal animal care laws, create a fire emergency plan, and install fire safety measures, maintain records of animal sales, purchase, breeding history, and veterinary care, dispose of dead dogs and confined waste in accordance with the law, and maintain no more than 50 adult dogs at one time. As you can see, there are many rules and regulations as to how a commercial breeder must care for these dogs and maintain a suitable environment for the dogs to live in. There is a fine line, no doubt, between commercial breeders and puppy mills, yet that line was not clearly defined in my opponent's speech. The second claim my opponent expressed was that pet stores increase the overpopulation of animals and gave statistics such as only 30% are adopted from shelters, 6 to 8 million go to shelters each year, and 3 to 4 million are euthanized each year. My response to this is overpopulation is due to several factors, not just the pet stores. Although my advocate's claim may be true, there are several other reasons for the overpopulation of animals. Such reasons are named by the IDA, an animal rights group which stands for In the Defense of Animals, claims that the overpopulation is also due to owner negligence, which the IDA claims that 1/5 of domesticated dogs become lost or run away sometime in their lifetime, and of those, only 16% are recovered by their owners, leaving the remaining 84% of the dogs to roam the streets and be put in shelters. Overpopulation is also due, they claim, to the biology of animals. The IDA claims that in just 7 years, a female dog and her offspring can produce up to 67,000 puppies. So if there are 10 wild female dogs running the streets, they can potentially produce up to 670,000 dogs by themselves and with their litters. Lastly, the IDA claims that the overpopulation is due to social attitudes. They claim that there are still many people who are not prepared to provide lifetime homes for animals they purchase or adopt. Over 30% of the animals who wind up in these shelters are surrendered by their guardians, who for whatsoever reason are either unable or unwilling to care for them anymore. The advocate displayed several biased statements which allowed for gaps in the reasoning process and an overall less effective speech. The clear one-sidedness of their arguments left me wondering what else is there. It seemed as if something was missing. If I were to be in the market for a new dog or pet, I would need more information as to why pet stores promote animal suffering when I made my purchase. It was a claim based more on emotion and personal opinion rather than on fact, which, as we know, is not the task at hand. Thank you.
All right, well, you label the advocate's claims pretty clearly. You explain that you're going to basically be offering counterclaims on each of those points. But there is some analysis of the advocate's claims as you get to those points, so you're not just presenting the counterclaims. I thought that you did a nice job challenging the definition on the first point, explaining why the definition is potentially biased, offering an explanation about what's problematic with the sources that you used in defining those particular things as puppy mills. So you've kind of created a good reason for doubting some of the validity of the advocate's claims on that point. And then you provide some evidence that suggests that there are regulations on breeders, that there are kennels that are perfectly legitimate, and I thought you raised some good points on that particular point. The second point I thought you did an even better job on in arguing that the causality for the animals in the shelters and the euthanization is largely outside of the notion of overpopulation produced because of pet stores, and substantially more according to negligence of the owners. You've got some good statistics on why the owners turn over, or that the owners turn over their pets, or they get lost, they don't get returned, and there's information about the animals breeding outside of the confines there. So I thought you had some good points on that point. Right at the very end, it sounds, instead of making a counterclaim on the argument, like you're going back a little bit more on a critique on the argument, but that's not going to mitigate the things that you said earlier, because I thought that they were pretty strong answers to those points. All right, thank you.